All right, what's up? Welcome to another Talking Head. You know who this is, Rona'e Le'Shawn. You know, we always want to talk about something, so let's talk about something. So today, I had a situation that prompted this episode, and I kind of just want to speak on it for anybody that, you know, experiences this with somebody, because I know that this becomes a frequent occurrence in my life, and I know that I'm not the only one, because for one, there's many bodies on this plane. We see them every day, but also disclaimer, like always, you have me in my car, favorite place to be. So if you hear the cars vrooming and the wind blowing and the birds chirping, charge it to my head and not my heart. So let's go ahead and talk about something today. So I had a situation before, and if any of this resonates with you, then you know you can comment, share, like, you know, the channel's still small, but we celebrate humble beginnings. So anyways, I would have situations in life where I would have friends around me, you know, I would, you know, put them on to something, whether it's a job, whether it's an experience, you know, whether I'm teaching them something about food or fashion or whatever it is, you know, it's because I'm very big on let me share wealth, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it can be a blessing and a curse, because you share it with the wrong. Some people will appreciate it, like, hey, thank you so much for sharing your plate or letting me take a plate home or whatever, figuratively speaking. But then you have other situations where you will put somebody on or share the wealth, and then they will forget that you're the one that shared it. And I have a couple of situations in particular, and then I'll go into the one that prompted this episode today. So I used to hang around this one person, and when we started hanging out in the very beginning, it was like they would slowly copy certain things that I would do. You know, we talk about mirroring spirits, mimicking spirits, copycat spirits, things like that, right? But then there's those situations where you hang around somebody long enough, you guys kind of rub off on each other, and you know that there's a difference. There's the difference where you guys may, you know, say some of the same lingo and whatnot, or then it becomes a thing between you and the other person, and it's very healthy and authentic. But then there are those other situations where a person will literally, it's almost like a silent competition, and they are really trying hard to beat you in being you. So I was around this one particular person, and early on I started noticing certain things, and it automatically, I think I mentioned this in another episode, but it automatically reminded me of the movie Single White Female. And it's, for those of you that's never seen it, it's a story about a woman who puts a room up for rent, and the roommate ends up being cool. They start to be friends, and everything seems cool. But then slowly, that roommate starts to mimic her, dress like her, wear her hair like hers. The roommate had even posed as her and went and slept with her, the girl's boyfriend, and ended up killing him. And at the end, it was this whole thing where the girl tried to take her life, basically, to take over who she was. So back to my personal situation, I actually experienced that firsthand, like where we would be out somewhere and she would do things that would make me feel so uncomfortable, and I would have to check in with myself, like, I know that I do that. And it got so bad to where I would stop doing it, and then she would do it so much where it was a very spiritual thing, for one, for anybody that knows. But just on the carnal, I would almost feel as if I was no longer that person that I was being, because I stopped being it to try to protect, you know, the things so that she couldn't copy me. But then she started doing, you know, the same thing. And so anyways, that whole thing kind of blew up. But fast forward to recently. So I work in an organization. I was working at an organization, and there was 4 other brown women there with me. 2 of them were there before me, and then the other came after or around the time that I came. So anyway, we were all looking for different things, because we all just got licensed for something. And so long story short, I had applied. We were all kind of applying and sending links to each other, whatever. So there was this one in particular, like by that time, everybody had kind of found something. Me and the one girl in particular hadn't really found anything, but I had found something, and they had required a technology, like my technology to be a certain way. And I didn't have, I had to upgrade my system basically, and I had to wait for it. So since I had to wait, I tell her, hey, listen, I know you probably got the specs over there, go ahead and apply, hit him up, and so jump on that, so that way you don't miss it, because I knew that it fit her situation. Okay, so fast forward, I finally got my systems and stuff updated, and I reach out to him. I'm on. So just today, which is what prompted this, because I found it fascinating. We're all in this group WhatsApp, and so she posts and she's like, oh, my job is hiring, and she tags me, she tags the other girl, and she's like, if you guys want to get on it, it's on this date. And I'm already, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've already talked to the guy. I actually was the one that put her on. And it was interesting because for me, what it did is it put me in a place of feeling some kind of way. And the feeling is more so like, interestingly enough, I referred you, and then you turned back around and you tried to tell me about the job as if you're referring me, and then was like, oh, well, my job is hiring, you guys come and I'll give you guys the information. But it's like, you got the information from me. And so I felt, it's almost like I wanted to kind of remind the person, which is the same type of spirit that I encountered before with this other person. And it's like, for one, it tells you about the spiritual warfare that we're in, and how spirits show up in different people. Whoever will house them, they will show up to ruffle you. But it was interesting because it wasn't as if I was offended. I was almost kind of flabbergasted, like, you know that you do realize that I'm the one that told you about this job, right? And it just kind of speaks to a place of where you never really know what a person is about until they show you certain parts, and then you have to make a decision. Because the simple fact that I had to kind of check in with myself, or kind of like remind her. Sorry about that obnoxious truck that just drove by. Like I said, if you hear the cars brooming and the birds chirping and the wind blowing, and you probably hear the construction that's going on over here where I'm at as well. So again, charges to my head and not my heart. But anyways, this is just really something to kind of, I know that there's other people out here that experience that level of copycat, or even, I don't even want to say it's a cognitive dissonance, but it's almost like an amnesia. You know what I'm saying? It's like, or what is it that's feeding you? It makes me kind of question. It's like, what is feeding that need for you to take credit for something that you did not actually do, or to stand in something and claim something that was not originally from you? You know what I mean? It's like, and it's weird because I can't really figure out if it's a competition thing, or she's just so proud and she forgot, or what it is. But it's like, I personally, if somebody referred me and they just didn't get on, I would be like, hey, did you check in? You get what I'm saying? Did you check in with them? Or I don't know, like, because the way it was said, and maybe I'm being a kind of way because maybe I have some type of unresolved something, but to me it just kind of felt like, you don't have to tell me about that, because for one, I have the information, and then for two, I'm the one that put you on this said job. So why do you frame it as if this is something new that you're telling me about that I didn't know about? And that's how the other person used to be. I used to teach them and tell them stuff, and they would come back and try to reteach me the very thing that I taught them, and I would sit there and scratch my head like, that I told you that, right? I'm the one that sent you that video, right? I'm the one that put you on that podcast, right? And they would say it like, oh my gosh, you should, and I will always use this analogy. I'm kind of branching off, but just so that you guys can catch the gist of it, I would always say, in an analogy, like, that's just like somebody giving you a CD, and say, they give you a CD, and they're like, man, listen, tracks 2, 6, 9, and 2, 6, and 9 are hitting. They're my favorite songs right there. And then you turn back around a couple months later and you tell them, oh my gosh, have you heard this CD? 2, 6, and 9 is it. And they're like, I'm the one that was me. Hey, raise his hand, you know what I'm saying, type of thing. And so I'm still working through what to call that, but I think that is very interesting. So anyways, this is really just to speak and give a little bit of, a little transparent, or just to kind of put you on the situation that I've experienced. And if it resonates with you, then great, and if it don't, then whatever, chew the meat and spit out the bones. But anyways, this was just a little pop in, like I said, trying to be consistent on this thing, because life be lifing and all the jazz. And so go out here and love on your brethren and on your sisterin. And if you cannot love on the ones in whom you can see, then how can you love on the Father in whom you can? So till next time.